Well, hello everyone. I'm sorry for the janky camera angle, but today I successfully was able to ground my energy spiritually, and I wanted to give y'all a tutorial for anyone who is struggling. I did make a short on this, but this is more the me being able to freely speak about this without having to condense it into a minute version. So I just wanted to talk to y'all about how I was able to ground myself. I'm still actively trying to find what works, but this seemed to work for now, and I feel really much more calm and at peace than I ever have in a long time. So, I just wanted to share what worked for me in case it might help another person. I'm no spiritual guru or expert, I'm just a person on the internet, but if my words can help someone figure out what works for them, then I think I've done my job pretty accurately. So, what exactly did I do? So, first, I had a really bad argument with my mom earlier today. I live with my parents, I'm 20, but I had a pretty bad argument with her and I kind of lost my temper. Not even kind of, I did lose my temper. And I felt some really bad residual just upsetness and I didn't want to feel that. And it's really hard for me to let go of that. It tends to just fester inside of me and just get worse and worse until it just keeps coming out. And I don't want that to continue happening. So I said, you know what? I am going to do what I can right now to ground my energy, to transmute that into something positive so that I can learn the lessons from this situation and figure out how I can better manage my energy and fill my cup without lashing out at others, especially my mother. So, that's just the background for context. So, what exactly did I do? Well, I set the intention of, hey, I really want this type of thing to stop. I'm tired of this cycle going on. I'm about to break this cycle. So, what I did was really set that intention of breaking that cycle of negativity, of that lashing out, because of all this pent up upsetness and this residual that I just can't seem to let go of. I just really said, you know what, I've had it. Enough is enough. I'm going to try to make a change today. So, I took out my handy dandy lighter. You can use matches. And I have this little candle here. This is an amethyst candle holder. And I lit the candle inside of there with a incense stick. So I like to use my Seicha Positive Vibes. This is my favorite incense ever, but any incense will do. Whatever works for you. It doesn't have to be Positive Vibes by Seicha. It can be whatever incense smells good to you and makes you feel positive and relaxed and happy. Use that incense. Use whatever incense works for you and your intention. I just happened to pick one called Positive Vibes because I needed some positive vibes, and I think everyone does. I also used a oil and ointment to really help me get into that meditative mindset and that journeying mindset. So I used my wormwood oil from Anita Apothecary, which says it's good for magical work in the afterlife, clairvoyance, divination, hexing, visions, protection, psychic ability, and spirit contact. I specifically use this because it's similar to mugwort, and I find mugwort really calms me. And I know wormwood is a cousin to mugwort. It's in the Artemisia family, and both have thujone. So I use this for protection, as well as psychic ability and magical working and clairvoyance. So I could really see and envision what it is that is really keeping me in these cycles and keeping me in these loops. You can use whatever oil works for you. Always dilute with a carrier oil as well. I also used from Belladonna's Botanicals the Go Ask Alice flying ointment. Now, I will caution you with using flying ointments. Sometimes they can contain poisonous plants, and always know what you're getting yourself into, and the potentiality of patch test, everything. Just do your research and know how it'll affect you first before going hardcore into something like this. I use this because I've used this before, and I find this to be very relaxing because of the Amanita muscaria, which I found for me really helps with when I'm dealing with emotional hang-ups and cycles and just kind of in a rut and in those negative like loops. Like this mushroom really helps me. I frequently have it in tea because it's one of the few things that helps with my misophonia, and when people are chewing and smacking their lips, that's one of the few things that provides me with relief and the ability to just process my triggers and let them go. So this has that in there, but it also has mandrake. So if you don't want the potentiality for mandrake poisoning, don't go with this flying ointment, but anything with Amanita muscaria, honestly, for me, works like a charm. That mushroom is beautiful. This also has Palo Santo, Blue Lotus, European Mandrake, olive. A lot of these things are very good for getting in that meditative, grounding setting. And it even says on here that this is for advancing through the spirit world, communicating with spirits, higher levels of consciousness, and in complex inner visions that can alter perception, feelings, and the senses. I specifically went with for this one because of the higher levels of consciousness and complex inner visions that will alter my perceptions, feelings, and the senses, so that I could, just process why I explode. I don't want to explode at my mother or anyone. So like I just want to process, why is this happening? Why is this residual sticking around? Why can't I seem to let go? And I just want to be able to let it go. So step one for me would be lighting in some incense of my choice, using that to light a candle, and then anointing myself with oils and or ointments to really get myself into that grounding mindset. So the second step, the third step, sorry, not third, second, third step to all of this are some quartz points. This is a Lemurian quartz, but you don't have to use that. And I also use a regular quartz because they're both clear quartzes at the end of the day, even if one is more of a higher vibrational clear quartz than the other, technically speaking. I mean, if you want to go by that logic, but I use this on my non-dominant or left hand, in my case, and I had it the point facing towards my wrist. And then on my dominant or giving or letting go or releasing hand, I put this quartz point with the tip facing my fingertips rather than my wrist. And the reason for that is because this amplifies the energy going in, and this amplifies the energy of coming out. So the way it's pointed, quartz is an amplifier, and I figured that it being on my hands, which are connected to my heart chakra, will really help in aiding that flow of energy, if you will. I hope that makes sense, but it made sense to me in my head. Likewise, I put some focus on between my solar plexus, which is really willpower and emotions, and my heart. So I put this double terminated agate, which is great for release. I put it in between. And then also I put it there so that my lower chakras, including my root, my sacral, solar plexus, could be connected to my mid chakra, which is my heart, and my higher chakras, which are my throat, third eye, and crown. Speaking of third eye, I put some rainbow moonstone on the third eye. Although it is typically good for the crown work, I figured something that could deal with both crown and third eye would be great, especially as it pertains to new beginnings and me wanting to break those old cycles. And then the agate being great for release, so that way I can release any stuck unwanted energy. So you might be wondering, how does this all tie into grounding? Well, I'll tell you. So what I did is I lit the incense, I lit the candle, I put on the oils and ointments with my intention, I put the crystals where I wanted to do, and I laid down. So then what you're going to want to do is just close your eyes for a little bit and just feel what you're feeling. Feel that stuck, pent up energy. And imagine, if you can't visualize, that's okay. Just imagine physical things that will help you be able to visualize it if you can't visually visualize it. You know what I'm saying? If you have aphantasia, it's okay. So imagine roots coming down from your feet or your back or wherever is more convenient and better for you. Imagine the roots going from your feet, in my case, into the earth. Just going deep into the core of the earth. Imagine going down, visualize it, going deeper, feel the pressure as it goes deeper, and until it reaches the core of the earth. And then what you'll want to do is imagine that stuck negative energy that you've been feeling, that you've been acknowledging, to release itself out through your dominant side of your body, or your releasing side of your body, out of those roots and into the earth. So again, out of the roots. So in this case, out with your hands pointing down, which is what I did. This is going to be going down into the earth. And the reason it's going into the earth is because the earth is a great transmuter. It really transmutates that negative energy, the pent up, those cycles that you keep having that you want to break. Yeah, those energies, it'll neutralize it and then eventually it'll transmutate those energies. And by transmutate, I mean transform those energies from negative to neutral to something more positive and grounded. I find in my case, anyways, that's what it's like. So then, once those energies reach a more stable setting, a more neutral to positive area vibrationally, I imagine that those vibrations, those positive yet grounded and stable and level headed, loving energies going up. So for visual, going up from my into the roots on my receiving end. So the energies that you don't want, that you want to get rid of, have it going out into the earth from your dominant end or your releasing end. And then once you feel it is transmuted, once you feel that that energy is leaving your body, once you feel it is left, you then slowly but surely welcome that energy back in through your non-dominant or receiving end of your body and have it flood throughout your body, both left and right. Have it flood all the way up through your chakras, up through your energy centers, if you will. Have it go from your root to your solar plexus, to your heart, to your third eye, to your crown, and all chakras in between. And the reason for that, I have an emphasis on the solar plexus, heart, and third eye, is because you will be able to process those emotional, heart-heavy feelings better and what you were feeling, and you're going to be able to visualize it or process it better with your third eye, because third eye deals with perception, and the reason you want it to go to your third eye is because it'll deal with your perception of these things that you are trying to get rid of. So essentially what I'm trying to say is I released the energy, I let it transmutate, and then once I felt it was transmutated, I welcomed that energy back and had it flood over me to my third eye and crown so I could better perceive those energies, and I sat with those energies, and I let the visuals and sensations and feelings and emotions just wash over me, and I just let it happen. I didn't resist it, I just let it happen. And I found in my mind's eye that I could see a heart. I saw a little heart, and that's how then after that, I intuitively knew to open my eyes. And let me tell you, when I opened my eyes, I just felt calm, at peace. Yes, like apologizing to my mother for snapping at her and blowing up on her, but I didn't feel like beating myself up. I felt grounded, more stable, more level headed, yet loving and really happy because I haven't felt these types of feelings of peace, yet peaceful happiness in a long time. And the fact that I could feel it, knowing what I had done, but not feeling this overwhelming sense of shame, but rather like, well, that wasn't good, but you learned your lesson and now is the time to move on kind of feeling. You've learned your lesson, make amends if and when you can, and learn the lessons from this and just try to move on and move forward with a foot in the right direction, with a step in the right direction, go in the right direction moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I hope this wasn't too awkward or rambly. I know this was pretty rambly, but I thought I would just tell everyone what helped me. So TLDR, for those who think this is too long, they don't want to listen, is this. So set the tone with oils and incense and candles, crystals of your choice for your heart and solar plexus and third eye, as well as your non-dominant and dominant hands. Ideally quartz because they are amplifying in your dominant and non-dominant hand, having the one in the non-dominant hand facing towards your wrist and the one in the dominant hand pointing towards your fingertips, and visualize roots from your feet or your back of your body to going into the earth, and imagine that negative, unwanted, really riled up energies releasing through your right or your dominant side of your body, or your letting go or releasing, giving, whatever you want to call it. Imagine it going out from your roots on that side of your body and just until you feel that it has left. And allow it to go into the earth and neutralize and transmutate into something more positive. Then bring those energies back in through the roots on your receiving or non-dominant hand or side of your body, and imagine it going in and just washing over you, and really process and sit there with whatever things you might feel or sense or experience. Allow yourself to sit with those experiences. And when you're done with all of this, I ask you all to record this because, or record your experiences, because it is important that you can mark your progress. And I know progress is not linear, so don't beat yourself up if you're feeling like you're doing better on some days and worse on others. Progress is never linear, healing is never linear. But trust me when I say that eventually it will get better. You'll get to a point where you're like, wow, like I've come so far. Like, look at me. This is how I was then, and look at me now. And although I still have much to do ahead of me, I've made considerable progress. And by writing things down or putting it in a notes app somewhere where you won't lose it, you will be able to mark your progress and look back on yourself and feel proud of yourself for how far you've come and be inspired to continue improving. So I hope this video was helpful. This is Hawk signing out. Thank you for coming along with me on this part of my journey. Thank you.